In this week's video, we're going to be going over the simplest form of offense at the net. That's going to be the forehand speed up out of the air. The reason why this shot is so important is because as we keep improving, more and more of the points are going to be played out at net, and this is the first most efficient way for us to create offense out of the air. Off of the bounce and off of the backhand side are a little bit harder, but the forehand speed up out of the air is very simple and very effective. Technically, this is going to be the easiest of our speed ups. This is because on the forehand side and out of the air, the net isn't too much of a factor because the ball's a little bit higher and the forehand is a lot simpler than the backhand. Our technique for this shot, again, building from the ground up. We're gonna get in that athletic stance, push our butt back to maximize our reach, and then as the ball comes to us, we're going to make sure we loosen up that wrist, get our paddle head down. The big thing you can see about my paddle is see how you can see the face? I'm not going like this and I'm not going like this. The paddle face is open, and then as the ball comes, we're going to go up to our shoulder. So again, I'm not going like this, crazy with my wrist, I'm going up to our shoulder. Don't forget guys, if you're enjoying this video, please support me by hitting that subscribe button below. So you can see when I'm hitting those balls how I'm staying down, following through, but I'm not popping up with my body and I'm not really snapping my wrist across. That's why I'm able to hit that shot a lot of times in a row without missing and getting a lot of spin on the ball and getting it down. Now that we know the general technique, there are a few little differences depending on whether we're hitting the ball cross court, middle, and line. Again, like we've talked about with some of the other shots, the biggest thing is going to be follow through. So the setup is very similar, but if I'm going cross court, I need to be early. And what I mean by early is I have to hit the outside of the ball, right? So if I have a ball here and I hit the ball over here, I'm early. If I'm late, I'm hitting the ball on this side, right? So the late ball is going to go that way if I'm a righty, and the early ball is going to go that way if I'm a righty. So again, when I'm going cross court, I'm gonna focus on getting around the ball early to go that direction. To go middle, I'm gonna get around it a little bit less. So instead of hitting the ball over here, I'm gonna kind of hit the ball behind. So I'm gonna be hitting the ball there, but still early so it's going on that direction. And if I go line, I'm going to be what I would call on time. That would be directly behind the ball. So I'm gonna be hitting the ball directly behind. From this spot on the right, I would never want to be late, because if I'm late, the ball goes out. Now we're here on the left side of the court, so now we never want to be early, okay? So it's kind of a mirror image. So if I'm early here, the ball's going to go out. So if I'm on time, it's going to go forward, same as on the other side. The difference comes with the other two. If I want to go to the middle, I have to be a little bit late, right? So hitting the ball with my paddle like that, hitting the ball that way. And if I want to go inside out hard, like the sharp angle, I have to be very late. So again, I would want to hit the ball here. So the biggest thing I would think about is when you're hitting the ball to a certain location, draw a line from the center of your paddle through the ball to the location, right? So if I want to go right at the camera, my paddle to the ball, that line goes directly there. So if I'm here, the ball's going to go that way. If I'm here, it's going to go straight. And if I'm here, it's going to go that direction. So if you think of it like that, it becomes easy to know why the ball went where it went. One of the biggest questions I get asked is like, oh, why did the ball go there or there, right? So this is an easy way when you miss a shot, let's say you hit it wide, you're like, oh, okay, my paddle was early, so the ball pulled that way. Or my paddle was late and it went that direction. If you start understanding that, it becomes a lot easier to make the changes and make yourself more consistent and staying aggressive. When attacking out of the air from the right side at a righty, the best spots to go are going to be the right shoulder and right hip. This is because when Zach goes to cover them, it's very hard to cover them with a backhand or a forehand. The other spots that are pretty good are the ones we were talking about going down the line so he has to reach, or a little bit off his body to the middle so he has to reach. Again, the key with all these spots is we're not going to the spot where Zach's paddle is sitting right now. The biggest problem I see with this shot is when people start getting it, they just go hard straight ahead and their opponent is sitting on it. And they're like, oh, it's not a good shot. So location is going to be the most important thing when it comes to this shot. The other thing is height. You could see when I was talking about that, I mentioned 2 different heights. Going at the shoulder is going to make Zach cover the ball a certain way and the hip a different way. By doing this, Zach has to be ready to cover the ball in many different ways, and that can cause him to get jammed up and more likely to commit errors. Quickly, I just want to go over again the difference when we're on the opposite side of the court. So now if you're attacking from the left side at the right side player, it's going to be much harder because these 2 locations with your forehand speed up, if we draw a line from the middle of the court to Zach's shoulder and hip, that ball is probably going to go out. So you don't have the whole court to use, you have a lot less space. This is why attacking that forehand from the left is a little bit harder because the 2 main locations are not there. So you have a couple options. One is still this spot, which we talked about over there, is still an awesome shot. So you go inside out through the middle and you make Zach stretch to cover that ball. The other spot is these 2 you can still use, but they're not going to be winners. So we take a lot of pace off and we go here knowing that Zach will cover that ball and we get ready for that next shot. Because if we slow down our shot a little bit, we can still make this ball. But we can't hit it as hard because we only have about half as much space. So the key is going to be understanding the dimensions of the court and changing our location, spin, and height based on whether we're attacking from the right, the left, and the angles that that gives us. You could see how those locations worked well from that side, but now I want to show you guys why it's harder to go at those right shoulder and right hip locations from this side. So again, that ball was probably a perfect ball from the other side. It was going to go right at Zach's right shoulder. He got jammed, but because we have so much less court, it was about a foot wide. So instead, I have to change how I hit that shot on this side. So there I go a little bit slower, which keeps the ball in, and even if Zach gets that ball, I go to my backhand side and I can still cover it. So again, with both of those balls, right, when I hit that first shot, I'm getting ready and preparing for the next ball. The biggest thing after you start hitting this shot is preparing. So when I hit the ball middle, I was staying more neutral because I was expecting a forehand to come back. When I was going at Zach's other shoulder, I'm going over to my backhand. That's because that's where I think that ball is going to come back. The biggest key is just being ready. What I don't want to see is this. Oh, it came back, right? What we want to see is you guys hitting it and your paddles out in front ready for that next ball. Even if you miss it or guess wrong or whatever, you'll at least be aggressive and putting pressure on your opponents by staying out in front and being ready. If instead we just hit and stand up, sometimes it'll work and a lot of times it won't. So I want you guys to focus on getting ready for that next ball. That's the big key as you keep improving. Getting this shot isn't that hard, preparing for the next ball is. So guys, to wrap up what we went over today, again, building the foundation, we get in that athletic stance, we get our extra reach by getting in front of ourselves. And then as the ball comes, we drop the paddle, get the face open, swing through. That's how we're going to hit the ball. And then again, the most important thing wasn't how to hit it, but where to hit it. So again, the good locations, we love right shoulder and right hip. From the right side, they're perfect. From the left side, we have to be a little more careful, right? Taking a little bit of pace off, preparing for that next ball. And no matter where we hit the ball, whether it's down that line, to the middle, cross court, we are getting ready for the next ball. So we're hitting, getting our paddles out in front, and preparing. If you guys do that, I promise you will have a higher success rate and put more pressure on your opponents.